What's going on, everyone? In this video, we're going to be jumping into HSL Basics, what's it do, and what's it good for. Let's get into the video. So if you're new here, my name is Jacob Scott, and I make filmmaking and photography videos like this one every single week. So if that is something of interest to you, be sure to go down below and hit the subscribe button. But jumping into the computer, this is the photo I have here. Now, when it comes to contrast, composition, all the stuff like that, it looks pretty good. But when it comes to colors, I feel it could look a lot better. And right now, it honestly looks a little bland and a little bit dull. Now, the nice thing about HSL is I think it is one of the best, if not the best tool in Lightroom for dialing in your tone and sort of getting your own look and style when it comes to your photos. So when you first go into Lightroom, if you look over to the right, you're going to see a basic tab, a tone curve tab, and then right below that, HSL. Now, you may ask, what does HSL stand for? HSL stands for hue, saturation, and luminance. Now, if your tab does not look like this, you may need to change it over to the hue tab, or you may have it set to all so you can view all three of them at the same time. But let's start with hue. Now, essentially, what this is going to do is you're going to be able to adjust the color or hue of any individual color. So think of this here as a color wheel. So, you know, orange is touching red and yellow. We're going to be able to shift orange over to red or yellow. So you can shift any color over to the side of any color that's touching it, if that makes any sense at all. So seeing that blue is pretty much the most dominant color in this photo, let's use blue as an example here. Blue, we can either shift it towards aqua or we can shift it over towards purple. Now, this is really great because if you want to sort of get your own color palette, say for Instagram, you can really use this tool to dial in sort of like your own color palette on your Instagram grid. Now, normally when my photos, I like my blues to be a touch more aqua. So, and of course the hue tab here, we're gonna take our blues and slide them just over towards aqua, just a little bit like that. I think even that looked a lot better there. Now, seeing that blue is such a dominant color in this, we can use the HSL tab to make it even more dominant. So now we can go over to saturation. You're gonna know it's gonna look really similar. We have red, orange, yellow, green, aqua, blue, purple, and magenta all again. But instead of this sliders adjusting the hue, now it's just gonna adjust the saturation. So with our blue, I'm going to, you'd see I can increase the saturation crazy like that. Quick tip too, in Lightroom, if you wanna easily reset the values of any one thing, just double click it just like that. Now, I do wanna increase the saturation just a little bit, so I'm gonna bring it up to about 15%, and then we can go into luminance. Again, you're gonna notice it's the same thing, but instead of adjusting the saturation or hue, it's going to adjust the brightness values of any one color. Now, so if we wanna make blue stand out even a little bit more, we can adjust the brightness. Now, you're gonna notice when you brighten colors, it tends to look like the saturation is not quite as much, so you may need to jump in between the luminance and saturation tab to get the brightness or saturation of any one color dialed in perfect in how you want it. But overall, I feel like that about there looks pretty good. Now in this photo, you're gonna notice that blue, of course, is the most dominant color, but there is some other colors and things in this photo that are distracting. Seeing that blue is pretty much the dominant color because it's the sky here and the main color of this building, which is the main subject of this photo, I really don't want there to be any other distractions taking away from that main subject in this photo. Now, one of the things that I do think that really takes away from that in this photo is these trees here, and these trees are green. So what can we do about that? We can go into our hue, and one thing that we can do is actually shift our greens more towards aqua. So then it's just fitting in better with the color palette of this photo. The color palette right now is kind of more blue and a little bit more orange because there's an orangish yellow tone in these buildings. So I'm gonna shift those greens more to an aqua just to fit in with the colors a little bit better. And I'm also gonna bring the saturation of our greens down so those trees aren't standing out so much and taking so much attention away from the main subject in this. Also, seeing that there is some orange in this building back here, I do wanna bring the orange up a little bit just because it's a nice contrasting color to the bluish aqua in the sky in that building. But overall there, I think that looks really good, and you can see the difference that it makes that compared to that there, and I really do think it is a big difference. And I definitely think that HSL is one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful tabs in Lightroom. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to go down below and hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below and I'll try to get back to them as quick as I possibly can. But that's pretty much it for this video, and I'll see you later.